Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley here for Concord and Ninth. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am going to give you a look at the entire brand new January 2024 release from Concord and Ninth. You're going to love the stamps and dies included, so let's jump right in. I am here to introduce you to the brand new Enchanted Heart die set. This is brand new for January 2024, and I think you're gonna love the lacy details of this beautiful die set. The Enchanted Hearts die set includes 5 dies, including one really large die that can really be considered a cover die, and that's this die here. It cuts out all of these beautiful lacy details. There are also a couple of scalloped hearts and a couple of inlays that you can switch out to either add a sentiment or just keep that beautiful design. So I think this makes more sense when we actually look at the dies in action. This is that cover die. You can see it has a large kind of solid area in the center. This die set also includes a couple of scalloped heart options. You can see I've combined them there together on that grapefruit heart. And then finally, when you combine all of the heart options together, you get this beautiful inlay that you can add to the center. Or you can switch out that center design for the love you lots or the you're my favorite sentiment instead. Now I like this because you can use this in a variety of different ways. In fact, that large outer scallop that I've die cut using this pink cardstock down here also makes a great shaker window, and I'll show you that. Also, when you die cut these hearts from various colors of cardstock, you can layer them up for a beautiful shadowed look. And as I mentioned before, because these are kind of interchangeable, you can use them in so many different ways. Here you can see what that largest scallop looks like as a shaker window. I think it's a great option. Now, I had a great time creating kind of some lacy valentines using this Enchanted Hearts die set. But of course, this doesn't just have to be for Valentine's Day. I created an ink blended panel and then die cut it using the largest die from the set to kind of create that cover. Now I also use that die to die cut into my card base. Because there's no outer cutting edge on this large die, you can use it either on a card panel or a card base, and you can create some really beautiful looks. Now keep in mind, you can also use the heart designs on their own. You don't have to use it with that largest die, and that's what I think makes this die set so great. It is so well thought out because there's so many ways you can use it. By separating the inner parts from the outer parts, you can mix and match and create a variety of different looks. And you can see I just layered up some white on white cardstock with a little bit of glitter cardstock for that second card there. Now these Enchanted Heart dies are perfect for creating lacy Valentine's cards, but you can use them throughout the year as well. They would make great wedding cards, and they are totally giving me papel picado vibes. And if you don't know what that is, those are those Mexican banners with the cutouts. I think these are absolutely gorgeous. And if you're digging these Enchanted Heart dies, be sure to check out the Enchanted Garden dies from Concord and Ninth as well. Let's have a look at the brand new in the bag stamps and dies. These are brand new from Concord and Ninth for January 2024. And I love it when Concord and Ninth does bags and boxes and gift card holders because they do it right. So you can see that this in the bag die set is a nice large die set. There's an adorable stamp set that coordinates along with it that you can use with or without the bags. But this die set is special because it creates 2 different sizes of bags. It also includes several different shaped tag options, as well as that little love die and a few different options for handles as well. Now look at these sentiments. Are these not perfect or what? I think that these could be used to create text backgrounds. So beautiful. I can't wait to try that out. I love this little love with that heart that you can fill in there. You can absolutely layer these on top of each other as well using darker and light inks. Now let's have a look at all the dies that are included in this die set. I think it's really helpful to kind of see everything that's included because when you're looking at a piece of metal, sometimes it doesn't always make sense. But you can see I have the bases of both the small and large bag there. And you can see I have die cut all the tags, that adorable heart, as well as all of these handle options from the die set. And I love this little love die here. I think I will use that throughout the year. And I am a sucker for a perfect heart, and this has a perfect heart included in the die set for you. Now, I wanted to show you how to put together both the small and the large bags. Now, when you're creating either of these bags, whether it's the small bag or the large bag, you're going to need 2 of the bases. So I've die cut 2 of the bases of both the small and the large bag, and I'm going to put the large bag together first. You're going to start out by folding on all the score lines. Now, the score lines are created by the die set, so there's no guesswork there. It's all ready to go. And once I've kind of folded on all of those score lines, I'm going to add my adhesive. So you're going to find a small tab on the side of each of these base pieces, and that's where you're going to add some adhesive. I'm using a double-sided, really sticky tape today. I find that works great when I'm adhering bags and boxes together. And once I've added adhesive to those tabs, I'm going to take just one side of this bag and I'm going to flip it over to the inside and add adhesive on that large bottom tab. So this is on the inside of the bag, just on one side. Now I'm just putting a couple strips of this tape, and now that I have that there, I have all of the adhesive that I need. So you can see I have it on both of the outer tabs on the bag, those small tabs on the side, and also on that inner tab on the bottom. Now I've removed the backer from the adhesive on one of my tabs, and now I'm going to line up these 2 pieces together. And you may find that folding in the lower tabs on the bottom is helpful for kind of lining this up. But essentially, you're lining up the edge of one piece with the score line of the other. So it's just going to kind of tuck in there and line up very easily. I kind of got it off there, but it's okay because I haven't pressed it down yet. And once I line those up, I'm going to just press that down. Now I'm going to kind of fold this in and remove the backer from that second side tab. And this is great because I've already reinforced those score lines. I can just fold the side into that tab. It lines up perfectly, and now I'm ready to close up the bottom. So on the bottom, I'm just going to tuck in all of the tabs, and I am going to remove the backer from the adhesive that I placed on that one side of the large bottom tab. And once I have the adhesive backer removed, I can just fold that up because I have all the other tabs folded in. And this will line up really nicely. And now I have my bag created. Now I like to wait till I get to this part to kind of create the gussets on the side of the bag. Now there are score lines for the gussets, but I find it's easier to do it once you get it assembled by just kind of poking your fingers into that center score line and allowing the bag to fold in on itself. Then you just need to choose the handles that you would like to use for your bag from the die set and attach them to your bag, and you're ready to go. That large bag is a great size, and I think you're going to have so much fun stuffing it with all kinds of goodies. Now let's move on to assembling the smaller bag. And I love this bag because it's the perfect size for a gift card and a great way to wrap up cash for somebody for Valentine's, for their birthday, for Christmas. You can use this year round. Now the assembly of this bag is very similar to the first. You're going to find the score lines already created for you. You're going to add some adhesive to those small tabs on the outer edges of the sides. And you're also going to add adhesive to just the inside of one of those bottom tabs. Now, once you have all of your adhesive added, you're going to expose the adhesive by removing the backer and line up those sides to attach those 2 together. I've lined up the edge of that right piece with the score line of the tab of that left piece. Now I'm going to fold this over once again and fold it on that adhesive exposed tab to create kind of this open box shape. And then once again, I'm just going to tuck in all of the bottom tabs. I'll remove the liner from the double-sided tape that I have on just one side of that bottom tab. And once I get that pulled off, I can just fold that onto the other larger bottom tab, and that seals up the bottom of my box. Now I can just take my fingers and kind of nestle them into those center score lines on the side and kind of press it together to create the gussets on the bag. Now I love this little bag because it could totally be a tote bag. You could make this like a Coach purse or a Louis Vuitton very easily. This is like a never full right here. Louis Vuitton never full if I ever saw one. But you can also take it and kind of add these more squared off handles and create like a satchel look for a purse. So it's a gift bag, it's a tote bag, it's a shopping bag, it's whatever you want it to be, but it is the perfect size for a gift card. And you can see I've created one out of some white cardstock and added some colorful cardstock strips and created a window where I suspended that love word die from this set. I also created that adorable XOXO layered tag with a little bit of glitter cardstock. And this is the large bag that I created. I used these kind of hole punch dies that are included in the die set right here. Those create holes on your bag so you can slide a ribbon or some twine through to close it up and use it without handles as well. And I think that was such a smart inclusion by Concord and Ninth. But I did want to show you this little bag, and a gift card slides right in. I love the window on this because you can kind of see the goodies that are inside. It would also be fun to make a window on that larger goodie bag as well. So there's a look at the brand new in the bag stamps and coordinating die sets, new from Concord and Ninth for January 2024. I think you're going to have a great time creating with these. Gift giving is my love language. I love to give gifts, and so I love to have die sets like this on hand for giving little goodies to my friends and neighbors and coworkers. I'm always really excited to introduce you all to a brand new Turnabout stamp from Concord and Ninth, and this new Pop Heart stamps and coordinating die set is no exception. You're gonna love the fun and funky geometric pattern that this Turnabout creates, and I'm gonna show you how to use this Turnabout stamp in today's video as well. Now in the Pop Hearts Turnabout stamp set, they've included not only the Turnabout, but a few little detail dies as well as some sentiments. And then this large coordinating die set has some great sentiments, a perfect little heart, and some great big shapes that are perfect for using on card fronts or for making shaped cards as well. Now, every Turnabout comes with a positioning guide, so I just wanted to point that out. Be sure you hang on to it because you're going to need it to position it in your MISTI stamping tool. So I'm starting by positioning my white cardstock that's cut to 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches on my all-in-one Turnabout jig, and then I'm going to pull in my MISTI stamping tool, and I'm going to tuck this jig into the lower right-hand corner, and I'll just make sure that the number 1 is in that upper right-hand corner. Now you can see I already have my Pop Hearts Turnabout stamp positioned in my MISTI stamping tool, and now I am ready to start stamping and turning. Now I'm starting out with Briar Rose ink, and I'm just going to ink up that stamp in my MISTI stamping tool, and then I'll stamp it onto my cardstock. Now after I've stamped my first color of ink, I'm going to go ahead and take my all-in-one Turnabout jig and turn it just a quarter of a turn here. So this number 1 in the upper right hand corner is now going to turn, and now I have a number 2 in my upper right hand corner. This helps me kind of keep track of where I'm at. Now I've cleaned off my stamp and I'm inking it up in some Stardust ink. Now, the thing I love about Turnabout stamps is that you really can create your own kind of custom pattern paper, and Concord and Ninth offers a variety of different designs. Now that I've stamped my second time, I'm going to turn my Turnabout jig again, just a quarter of a turn. That number 3 is going to be in the upper right-hand corner. And now I'm inking up my stamp with avocado ink, and I'm going to stamp that again onto my cardstock. Now I'm using 5.5 inches by 5.5 inch piece of cardstock here, but you could definitely use an A2 size card as well. Now once I've stamped my third color of ink, I'm going to turn again, clean my stamp, and then I'm going to ink up with Dragon Fruit ink. So for this stamping, the number 4 is in that upper right hand corner of my all-in-one Turnabout jig, and I know that I'm going to stamp in the right place. I am just going to stamp this right onto my white cardstock, and look at this gorgeous pattern that I've created. Now to remove your cardstock from the all-in-one Turnabout jig, because it is a sticky surface, go ahead and just roll the actual Turnabout jig away from the cardstock. By doing it this way, you're going to keep your cardstock completely flat and avoid any warping. Now you can stamp all 4 times, or you can stamp just 1, 2, or 3 times to create various different looks, and that's what I'm showing you here. I've stamped in Ballet Slipper, Nectar, Tide Pool, and Pink Lemonade to create this grouping of patterns here. And you can see how they're all very unique and different looking. And I love the way the pattern builds. I also love this color combination. I've used Pink Lemonade, Grapefruit, Peacock, and Tide Pool for that final color combination. Now let's have a look at this big, beautiful die set. I love that they've included these large shapes and these large sentiments that you can either use together or separately, and you can use them in a knockout way like those larger shapes on the top, or you can actually use the letters. Now there is this plus and this M included in the die set as well, because you can rearrange the letters to say you plus me. And then of course they've included some perfect hearts once again. Now, if you die cut these shapes without the sentiment kind of nestled in there, you can use those for some shaped cards as well, or you can use the sentiments on their own, and I'll show you a card example of that here in a bit. Now, I've used both the stamp and die set together to create this fun and funky card, and I cannot lie, it's totally giving me Small World vibes from Disneyland, and I know my friends at Concord and Ninth are fans of Disney. So we'll see if they agree. I think it's just a fun pattern that this Pop Hearts Turnabout creates. Now for the next card, I only stamped 3 times, and then I used one of the small sentiments included in the stamp set, along with a sentiment from the In the Bag stamp set embossed onto some colored cardstock, and I've popped up a few of those hearts from the die set. Now this large circle, I die cut from some vellum, and then I just scored lines in it to kind of match that little detail piece that I stamped inside that circle on my pattern. And finally, I have a card where I've used just one of the sentiments on its own. Now this would make a great shaker window. I've just layered this window over kind of an ombre blended piece of white glitter cardstock, added a few hearts on there as well as some colorful strips, and you can see that card came together really quickly. Now, I love a Turnabout stamp because they encourage me to play with different color combinations. And so I hope you have a great time experimenting with different color combinations with this Pop Heart stamp and coordinating die set. And keep in mind, you can always substitute one of those turns for a metallic embossing powder to add a little shine as well. Allow me the pleasure of introducing you to the brand new Sweet on You stamps and coordinating dies, new from Concord and Ninth for January 2024. These stamps and dies are so sweet, they're gonna give you a toothache. So here's a look at this Sweet on You stamp and coordinating die set. It's kind of themed around a candy jar, and it's so fun to kind of mix and match the different dies to create different looks in your candy jar, and also include those sentiments. Now, my favorite sentiment in this whole thing says, "I'm a sucker for you," because, you know, I'm a sucker for you. I know you didn't ask for singing, but I couldn't help it. Now, all of these dies are great because there's little detail pieces that you can either include or exclude, and they've thought of everything in this die set. Now, the candy jar is ingenious because it includes a larger die that's kind of like an outer die and also an inner die, and that allows you to create a frame, which means you can create some fabulous shaker cards as well. Now, all of these different candy pieces can kind of mix and match. There's an adorable bow, a little lollipop stem that you can either use on that heart shape, or you can create kind of a dum-dum shaped sucker using a couple of the dies. You can see there's gumdrops, there's candies and wrappers. There are little conversation hearts as well. The little details you can just die cut from the top piece and kind of allow the bottom piece to show through. But I wanted to show you this conversation heart because it has a perfectly shaped heart where you can stamp your sentiments, which are included in the stamp set. But if you layer it up on kind of these wonky looking hearts, it gives you kind of the depth look of an actual conversation heart. So it kind of creates that 3D effect and really brings these conversation hearts to life. Now, you can also make that famous saltwater taffy that Concord and Ninth sends you in your camp kit every year using a little bit of vellum, and that's what I've done with those dies. So here's a look at the first card that I created using these Sweet on You stamps and dies. I've added the candy inside of a shaker window that I created with the dies. And I also heat embossed the Gimme Some Sugar sentiment right on my shaker window. Now, because I'm a sucker for the sucker sentiment, I had to make a grouping of these heart lollipops. I added a layer of vellum over the top of them so they looked like they were in wrappers, and I also added a sprinkling of conversation hearts along the bottom. I die cut those bows from some gold cardstock, and I also used that XOXO sentiment from the short and sweet die set from Concord and Ninth. These brand new Sweet on You stamps and dies from Concord and Ninth are totally giving me a sugar rush. I cannot wait to play with these a little bit more. I have so many ideas, and I can't wait to see what all of you do with them as well. I think that is one of the best parts of crafting, is seeing how you all take these products and create something that's uniquely you. Let's take a look at the brand new We Go Together stamps and dies. These are brand new from Concord and Ninth for January 2024, and they are so much fun because you can create a variety of different sentiments using not only words, but images as well. So this is kind of based on the idea of perfect pairs like peanut butter and jelly and chips and salsa. There's this main stamp image that you can combine with the words and images to build up things like love you like peanut butter loves jelly, or salsa loves chips, or milk loves cookies. And then you have your coordinating dies with a few sentiment bonus dies as well. So let's have a look at all of these dies kind of die cut along with the stamps so you can get a good idea for what's included. Now this large grapefruit piece was actually die cut with the largest die in the die set. It's kind of a very delicate scallop layer that you can use with other stamp sets as well. And here is that main stamped image that kind of builds up this really fun and funky it kind of gives me Lisa Frank vibes kind of. And then I can nest those love you like, loves, and all of those other images into that stamped area. So you can use these with or without that base piece. And I love these kind of knockout banners that are included in the die set as well. So you can use the jar to create peanut butter, which might be chunky or not, some jelly or some salsa. There's also the milk image, a cookie image, the chips image, and then I love that adorable tiny little speech bubble. So let me show you how easy it is to create a card with these. I'm going to take my 2 layers that I've stamped and die cut here, and I'm going to place this onto an A2 size card. Then I'm going to grab the love you like image that I've stamped and die cut, and I'm going to nestle it right into that stamped area. Now I stamped this in kind of a light color for that base, so it's hard to see, but there are openings that perfectly fit these die cuts. Now I've grabbed the loves and I've kind of nestled that in there. And then there's a couple of blank rectangles. So I'm going to grab my little toast here with my peanut butter on it, and then my little jar that I've created to kind of create some jelly. And I can also stamp the little peanut butter and jelly sentiments into those open rectangles where those kind of images are nestled. So here's the first card that I created. I stamped that base piece using multicolor stamping. Then I embossed the love you like and loves in some black embossing. And then I nestled in my little milk and cookies there. And I also nestled in that adorable little speech bubble. I also created a little heart tab for the side using one of the dies in the set, and I added that onto a card base that I die cut using the striped card cover front from Concord and Ninth. It's a great basic. You can see that this card has tons of dimension because I stacked up the die cuts. It's totally giving Lisa Frank vibes, and I love it. Now, I wanted to use those adorable knockout banner sentiments as well. So these say we go together like chips and salsa. You can see I've added a die cut and stamped heart there in that hot pink color or honeysuckle color. But I've also stamped a couple of smaller hearts onto this base, and I die cut the entire card front using that really delicate scalloped rectangle that's included in the die set. So there you have a look at it. It's all about perfect pairs, peanut butter and jelly, milk and cookies. We go together, stamps and dies from Concord and Ninth. I think you're gonna love creating with these because it's such a fun and whimsical set to have in your stash. I'm Carissa Wiley. Thank you so much for joining me for this look at the brand new January 2024 release from Concord and Ninth. I can't wait to see what you create. Happy crafting, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.